YouTube, we have a box. We're gonna open it right now. It's gonna be amazing. If you're here for the first time, this is Brian Phillips, RC. I'm Brian Phillips. Camera crew is my wife, Megan. And look at that, it's amazing. Yes, this thing's supposed to go fast. I've had a few planes like this before. This one is probably the longest and pointiest that I've ever had. So we're gonna see how it goes together because this is a small box. Small box usually mean big assembly.
I know. Can we call this the longest, pointiest plane? Can that be our title of our video?
No.
Because it might not be.
Maybe we can. I don't know. We're usually pretty conventional in the way we do things here at Brian Phillips RC because we want you guys to get the no BS answers to your questions on this channel. We try not to overhype things, which is why we introduce ourselves in such a calm and not excited way. Okay, let's do this thing. Reflex V2 manual, which is helpful if you need it, but in this case, does this have a rudder? Oh, hon, could you just go ahead and just read this for him right there? If you could just start right there and just
important notice, please
pack a lunch. Okay, yeah. Hey, by the way, don't cut your hand. Seriously though, guys.
This plane's making me nervous already.
This plane is a pusher prop, and it is one of the few times. Oh, manual's not folded. Thanks, FMS. We love it when you don't fold manuals because it annoys me when you do. Okay, so good job, FMS, and we've been upset about that a few times recently. So, I didn't get it cut. Okay, I see a spare prop. That's cool.
Spare prop or a prop?
No, there's two. Look.
Oh, yep.
Meaning there's a spare.
Yeah.
This is they are the same size. One's a 7.5E and one's a 7.5E. Yeah. And you're like, but it's not an R. It's not a reverse, right? Well, that's because it's a pusher prop. Or excuse me, it's still the same configuration as a tractor prop. Ooh, man, look at that. They put tape on this. Wait, no, they didn't. I dropped it down the way I cut my tape. Be careful about that, guys. You don't want to lose your labels. Oh my goodness, that is a small wing. Oh. It is so short. And look at that carbon fiber rod. That is a nice rod.
Stiff.
Here, touch my rod. Oh yeah. Don't. I was just gonna say, whoa, internal servos. They go to the top. That was super smart. Because if you land upside down, they usually break. But if you land right side up, you're doing it the way you're supposed to. Seriously though, guys, don't cut your fingers on this. Seriously though. Oh yeah, FPV platform. So cool. I'm gonna fly this right to the table where I can ignore it forever, but you guys are gonna love it. We don't really do FPV cameras. We have them. Seriously, I just don't wanna get in trouble. We already pushed the envelope enough as it is, okay? See this? Wow, amazing. That is a very
big elevator.
Listen, per Ian.
Size matters.
No. Per Ian,
you
don't need an elevator.
A well-trimmed sailplane. This does not look so much sailplane.
I wonder if Ian watches our channel. I doubt it.
I'm sure not anymore.
100%. Oh, I'm not going to watch your channel anymore. You're always making fun of me.
He was nice.
No, he was great.
Just elevator.
And he sold me a beautiful plane, by the way.
Yes.
Look at that. You know what's funny? I've even talked about that plane forever.
No.
The ASH 26.
That was the like composite.
Oh yeah, it's one of my nicest planes I've ever had, and I just haven't played with it much. Okay, good embedded plastic, very stiff. Huge, and I know stiff. Awkward. Speaking of stiff.
More rods.
I was trying to make it twing. That is definitely carbon fiber rod. Okay, then we've got this thing. Okay, we do have a rudder. Guys, you're gonna want a rudder on a plane like this. That is a small rudder, but you know what? It's gonna get alive really quick. And this is one of the times on a plane that you do wanna see this warning. Don't be chopping your fingers and blaming me, guys. If you get this plane and you cut your hand off, I'm just gonna say right now, I told you, be careful. And I don't often stress safety stuff on this channel, like hardly ever. Ooh, nice scratch pad here. And now I'm gonna regret if I get cut myself. But the thing is, the truth is you have to seriously be careful. This is a 3536 motor. Looks like 1750 kV. That is a really big motor, which is awesome. 9-gram digital servo, looks like an elevator servo there. And then we have the usual suspects here coming off of the Reflex V2, which is sweet. Which means you can use a run-of-the-mill standard sort of setup. Oh, except I thought of something. I thought we were gonna try to film this yesterday, but my voice is just finally coming back. I don't know where to put that thing. I had a cold and then I had a sinus infection after it, which happens to me a lot. I don't know if you guys get that, but now it's springtime, so I'll probably get another cold.
Yeah.
But it's really annoying to have a bad voice when you're trying to film because people hear it. So let's build this thing now.
What did you just think of, you said?
Hold on a second.
What?
What, this? What I was thinking is that we need to, where's the nut sack?
It's in here.
Oh, it's already in there? Wow, this is gonna be.
There's not very many nuts.
Wow, that's crazy. Hold on. Oh, look at this. Amazing. So you could set up flaperons on this if you want. What I was thinking is an AR620 is gonna be all hunky-dory, except that, guess what? We need to be able to turn off the stabilize, what? Oh, no retracts or flaps. Well,
you got all sorts of channels left over.
That's right. So listen, guys, throttle, rudder, elevator, ailerons.
That's all you got.
Throttle, aileron, rudder, ailerons. You could do this with an AR410, folks, and really save money. But I am definitely using 6 channels on this, and here's why. You want to be able to shut off the stabilizer. If this thing starts oscillating, it's gonna be extremely fast and you need to be Johnny on the spot, okay? And also the auto leveling might be kind of handy for that, for launches. So then you can go like this, you can go like throttle off, and then throttle cut off and throw it and throttle going. By the way, when I hand launch, I do not turn on the throttle cut, I turn it off, verify things are safe, and then I launch ready on the sticks, okay? I don't hold this one. Sometimes I'll do this with my mouth. This is off. And I'll do that. Sometimes I will literally leave the throttle cut on. The Optera was the last large bird that we had that I flew that would have been capable and has cut a lot of people. But it has a heck of a lot bigger problem than that.
Yes, definitely.
Like huge. Huge. People is huge.
This is it.
What? The screws?
Screws.
Whoa!
Just throw that anywhere.
Almost had an escape, guys. AR620 there by Spectrum. Good job with this, guys. We're just gonna throw that book over there. We're not gonna use it. This might be a good alternative to use the Lemon RX if you're trying to save a buck. Okay, guys, this is a cheaper plane. And so as per cheaper plane status, do not expect the sun, moon, and stars, okay? I like planes like this. They're fun once in a while, but this is not gonna be my everyday flyer. I'm sorry, it's just not gonna be, because there's not that much you can do with these fast planes. They're super cool, like the V1200, the V900. 1200 had landing gear that were just about half as strong as they needed to be for normal conventional flyers. If you're not like an amazing pilot, you're gonna tend to break them. But the thing is, the plane was still sweet, very, very fast. Probably one of the faster planes we have, like 140 miles an hour, fast. This one's not gonna be quite that fast, but it's a heck of a lot smaller. And look at the visibility, guys. Looks okay on the top, but look at this. Whoa! That's white.
Do we have clouds tonight? Ooh.
Yeah, I know. I was just gonna say. This one's gonna be fast, and good thing we have a great camera crew on staff who also is married to me.
Let's say on staff. When did that happen?
I don't know. Oh, man. That was annoying.
Your rod came out.
No, my rod didn't come out. It's not even through yet. Now it's in. I got penetration now.
Oh, that's...
I push that all the way across. That'll hold it. But see, guys, what I'm trying to do is I have to feed this into that hole. So what I need to do is I need to basically slide this down, this portion, so that I can then, it's a little bit awkward, I must say, because I have to pass it through that thing, but I don't want to untangle it and everything.
Well, sometimes you have to get it in the hole and do other things at the same time.
See this? Look, now I'm going to grab this and just slide it together, okay? Oh, yeah, buddy, that's good stuff right there. Oh, by the way, Rick, if you're watching, thanks for the nice gift. We appreciate it, and we have 4 kids to feed. They will definitely eat through that gift card that you purchased for us quickly. All right, guys, sorry about that. We had a little interruption because the phone rang. So you can see screws, black screws. We're gonna screw the wings in. And as you can see, these wires were poking through here. And then I can't remember even what we were talking about just a second ago.
We were thanking Rick for his super
Oh,
nice gift.
Yeah, that's right, Rick. Thank you for feeding the family. That was so nice of you, and we appreciate that. That was really kind. And we get gestures like that all the time from our kind patrons. Our Patreons help support us on a monthly basis, which is super cool. But he actually went out of his way to send us like gift cards, which he arranged with the camera crew behind my back. And I had no clue it was coming, so it was super cool and really nice. So thanks, Rick. And then also, if you guys want to be one of our supporters, then we have Patreon in the links down below. But we still honestly, and even you Patreons, I don't want you guys to hear this the wrong way, and I don't think you will. But the 38 of you or so that are supporting us, we really appreciate that. It's super cool to have people that are really backing you up. You know, even if it's just a couple bucks a month, it's not a big deal. And we certainly don't want you guys to feel like, you know, we're going to stop doing this or, you know, whatever. I don't want you guys to think that ever. It's just more a matter of it really does help to encourage us because there's a lot of work that happens behind the scenes, and most of it is for the cam crew because she's always working on the website, and there's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes to make all this stuff happen. And, you know, it was a lot different back when we first started this, and it was just, you know, I'd be doing a plane, you know, every couple months we might throw out a video, and then we'd have, you know, fun stuff that comes up once in a while. Now it's like 4, 5, 6 videos a week. I mean, it's like a thing, guys. Okay, 4 screws went together fine. Feel right here while you're tightening your screws.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you can tell when they're lined up. But anyway, if you guys want to become a Patreon, links are down there just below where the airplane that we're reviewing is. We always link to the airplane. We link to the battery reused and the receiver. If it's a plug and fly, this one, of course, it's a plug and fly. And if you're new to the hobby and you don't know what that means, basically that means you provide your own radio system. So this doesn't come with it. This is an NX10. Note, guys, if you've watched recently, we brought this out with Carbon Z T28 the other day, and we've had a problem. And the problem is we moved all the data from that unit, the 8 to the 10. And what happened is we had like 250 plus records because of all the duplicates, and triplicates, and quadruplicates, and septuplicates.
Yep.
So we went through and painstakingly fixed it on the computer, which was way easier, and then we dumped it in, and we have now less than 150. It's like 145, but there's still some duplicates. And so we're working through that to resolve it, and the camera crew is gonna help me get that done. So anyway, we always point out mistakes that we find in this stuff, but I still love that transmitter, and I love the NX8. I am gonna cut off the warning, but usually the warning is a good idea for people that aren't maybe paying attention. Also, I plugged in this is a 2200 4S 50C. That one's a little bit puffed because we've been mean to it. If we have any issues fitting it, we'll go to this, but this is a 30C. That's a 50C. They do call out a 35C. Remember, this may not look like much, but it is gonna be a screamer, literally, okay? And when you start getting planes that are going 125, 130, 140 miles an hour, you know, it takes some juice to do that. And you will chew through packs. So you need to reserve your throttle for when you're doing your passes, okay? Don't blast around with 100% throttle. You will damage your battery. I promise you, you will damage the ESC, even though it's big and it's properly sized. That's all taken into consideration with the fact that you understand throttle management, okay? Throttle management's important on these planes. Okay, so this is a reflex. We got 1 wing, we got 2 wings. If you wanna set up flap rounds, that's fine. You can tear this thing out and put an AR630 in there, keep it nice and compact, but you see, I think top pins would actually work really good in here. So I would go with maybe an AR630 7T. Then you get full telemetry. You can get your pack voltage and all that good stuff. Even though you're using a non-smart ESC, you can still get pack voltage because it comes with that little 1S battery lead that plugs into the top. So really cool there. And then we're gonna use this shelf liner, which again is not provided. It's gonna go right here. So getting back to the plug and fly portion that I was just talking about, we're gonna go ahead and keep installing as we go. So this obviously is gonna go on top of here. There's a little ball link there, which is the superior method for attaching servos and control surfaces. So that's gonna go into this little doohickey here. Plug and fly just means that you're gonna basically provide your own radio, transmitter and receiver. So I think those 2 screws are gonna receive a screw. And then on the bottom, well, how the heck do we...
So those screws are gonna go in from the top. Those are gonna go in first.
And then these come in from the top of the rudder, okay? Okay, so 1 bag of screws.
That's it. And
that's it in a nut and bolt sack? That's awesome. So anyway, getting back to the point, guys, if you have a radio system that you prefer, whether it's Futaba or maybe an Open TX or something that's cheap, you know, like a DXS that you had with a ready to fly plane, I'm just gonna stress this enough. If you're getting into a plane like this, You want to have Expo. Expo is critical, okay? It's huge and necessary. You want Expo when you have extremely fast planes. It will help make it a more desirable flight. Also, I want you to remember something. If you are not a good, experienced pilot, these fast-looking planes are fast. Sometimes they look fast and they're very docile and easy to fly. This one would probably be along the lines of not easy to fly. And I'm just gonna tell you this right now. Just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's easy to fly. In fact, sometimes the cheaper planes are harder to fly. So don't just think, hey, it's cheap, I'm gonna get this because I'm tight on money. You know, I don't get paid until next month, but I only got like 200 bucks to blow. That zero over there would be fine, okay? It's similar price point, it's small, it's fun to fly, very good, high quality, reflex V2, all the stuff you want. Or did we put in a safe receiver in that? I can't remember.
No,
either way, doesn't matter. The point is this.
Yeah.
Make sure you're getting the right plane for the job. If you're new to this arena of RC aircraft and you think just because it's cheap, it's gonna be easy to fly, that is not true. It is sometimes somewhat counterintuitive. Sometimes the cheaper planes are actually harder to fly. Also, sometimes they have less technology, but this one has all the latest and greatest tech that you want. And so we should be good to go. Okay, so we've got another typical FMS expectation. One screw extra of whatever size they offer, and they always do that, and that's very nice. That means rarely do we have a missing piece of hardware, and it's funny because they must stress that to their employees that pack their nuts and bolt sacks. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna go to a longer Phillips screwdriver on this one so I can reach over the the vertical stabilizer here. But they must stress that, but ironically, then you never end up with missing anything.
I can't think of the last time we were missing on an FMS.
Yeah, I can't either. I can think of some times that we had hardware that was maybe not my favorite.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about like the Carbon Z Cub. Even though I love that plane, they use some jankety hardware on the landing gear. If you guys hear digging, it's our cat and just dropped a giant stinky deuce downstairs. And he is currently making a huge mess next to the poop, but not covering it. That's what he likes to do.
He's really smart.
Yeah, he's the dumbest of our three cats. His name's Ashy Boy.
He's also the only
He's the only
male.
boy that survived.
So maybe he's not so dumb. He's still alive.
Well, that's true. Yeah, he's just kind of dumb and lazy though.
Yeah.
Which is why he survived, because all the rest went out and had to contend with real Mother Nature that's like trying to eat and kill everything else. Okay, cool. So that's screwed in. We're just going to give it a good wiggle test. And then also at some point we do have to put a linkage on, which is over yonder.
Yep.
Okay, now unlike normal conventional Brian Phillips RC, I'm going to actually set this up with the prop off.
Okay.
Very unusual for me to do that. Generally, my take on safety with props is you're gonna eventually have a battery in that thing, so don't worry so much. You don't need to do anything stupid, like cut your hand if you're inexperienced, but at the end of the day, you do eventually find exposure to that prop in an energized plane, especially on a hand-launched plane. You are gonna be holding this with the prop on, just to be totally clear. But we haven't vetted it, and so a good idea is to maybe wait until you have vetted the plane. And also, it's just in an awkward place. There's no way for landing gear to be holding it. So if it was on a plane stand, no big deal, but I wanted to showcase this without a plane stand. Now, also, let's talk about battery size real quick before we get into the prop and the linkage. The battery is fully charged, so I'm gonna grab this, and then I'm actually gonna grab a 30C so that we can just compare. This one's been puffed a little bit because I've been mean to it, okay? You can see here it's a little bit longer. This one's a little bit skinnier, okay? A little bit thicker. Now, there should, honestly, in my opinion, you could probably get away with doing either one. A 30C Smart Pack is probably gonna be about what you're getting in a 50C anyway. I don't know why these companies can't just say what the actual C rating is. I'll tell you why. Because it's sort of an ambiguous measure, and I don't think it's well regulated, and who cares? Whatever. 50C is slightly better than 30C. 100C is better than 50C. 200C, which doesn't exist that I know of, is better than 100C. Okay, that's all it is. They just put more packing material around the cells. So if you were to cut this open, which be careful if you do, you better start up here and don't do it in your kitchen. You would find that there's like more metal and aluminum that actually helps keep them from puffing, but that's basically it. And they use better cells sometimes, but not usually. Okay, so this is just so we can do our testing and setup. Okay, so I've got a little Velcro on there, so I don't need my anti-stick. And you're like, what do you mean you're anti-stick? I mean this. This is gonna be shelf liner to help hold that battery in position. You do not want this thing to shift while you're flying, because you'd be then screwed. Yeah. I'm gonna cut this corner. Why would you be then screwed?
Because you're gonna change your CG while you're flying.
Yep, and then you're not gonna be able to get it landed because this thing is gonna become crazy tail heavy or nose heavy. Nose heavy tends to make the plane fly a little bit more stable, and tail heavy makes it fly less stable. Now, what is wrong with less stable? Well, there are times you want less stable, like if you're doing some types of thermal, you can see the ship tip.
Okay.
Okay? Otherwise, you basically don't want that.
I was gonna say, this plane does not seem like you would want.
Do you like how I cut that out?
That was really awesome.
Well, I wanted to just, I was gonna waste it anyway, so I might as well stick it in the hole.
But it still drives me crazy.
What, you don't like that?
It wasn't square.
No, it wasn't, but
None of it
look,
is
it just
square.
fills the whole bottom now. It was literally on an edge, okay? This stuff is expensive. It costs like $10 for a roll of like 400 feet.
Yeah, and we've used like 3 feet of it.
You think I made up money? Jeez. So if you guys also, you know, have problems with that with your wives too, then you'll understand.
If you just cut your shelf liner square, then she won't be upset with you.
Or if you maybe don't do any of the things you see me do on this channel.
Probably I would go with that.
Would be the better option.
Yeah.
For safety,
Also,
for your safety.
Don't take it out of her drawers. If it's doing something,
don't touch it. But if you buy it on Amazon, you can follow our Amazon link.
And if
That'd
you're
be awesome.
confiscating her garbage,
we need you guys to follow the links more. So go to Amazon and buy the shelf liner. We actually do have a shelf liner link. Yes, we do. But that's okay. That's okay. We are shameless about it. So anyway, if you guys wondered how we fund this channel, that's how.
Shelf liner.
Shelf liner. It really has nothing to do with selling these hundreds of dollars transmitters or thousands and thousands of dollars worth of planes. It has to do with shelf liner. Yeah. Okay, so getting back to the point, we have this AR620 and we have a radio, and we're gonna pause and come right back. Okay, 2 things. We're gonna mark CG right now, 80 to 90 millimeters. Okay, so I've got my calipers here. We're just gonna open this up to 80. And then I've got 2 colors, Camera Crew, red or black. Let's figure out where it hits. So at 80, and it's from the leading edge, like where the wing meets the fuse. I say black, because we're right on top of red. Okay, so there's the first one. And same thing here, I'm just finding that same spot, and then 80 to 90, okay? And I do actually appreciate that the 80 to 90 millimeters is not like 70 plus or minus blah. You know, it makes sense to just have a start and end point so you don't have to worry about trying to do math and then making a mistake and then losing a plane over it, okay? Now I'm gonna hang this plane upside down, so I am trying to dent that as much as possible. And I'm still waiting for a manufacturer to just mold that in. We get it once in a blue moon on some of these cheap Chinese garbage planes. And to be honest with you, I would rather have a good plane that's not got the CG mark, but we noticed something. In our haste, because we're trying to beat the sunset, you may notice we're going a little quicker than usual. You see the tip is screwed up? Mm-hmm. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this water. I'm gonna show you a trick. This is warm water from the tap, nothing special. We're gonna open the microwave. We're gonna stick it in there. And I'm gonna go like 4 minutes. And we're just gonna let that literally run, okay? And so when that's done, we'll be right back and show you how to fix the nose. It's boiling, okay? I saw bubbling, it was at 2 minutes. You see it flash boil? This is where you're gonna get burned, so you need to be careful. I've tripled this up. I'm gonna cover over the top and wrap the sides, okay? Glasses do occasionally break. Like that, it flash boiled into my hand, but I had protection on it. It literally flash boiled into my hand. So when it doesn't boil, that's the most dangerous. Watch what happens, guys. Watch this. A disturbance starts at a boiling, which is crazy, okay? Yes, we do have a battery in there. Watch this, guys. Oh yeah, that is so cool. Now cold water, cold water, cold water. Ooh, it's sticking out. Very good, okay. That makes me feel so much better. I was like, how the heck did I break that thing? I didn't break it for once. So Man, that was hot. Holy crap.
If you don't want it to flash boil, you could put like a bamboo skewer or something in there.
Yeah, just a stick or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so continuing on with our build, we have to set up the radio setup. And remember, that pack is probably fine, but we're gonna use it for radio setup. So that's our next step. We have our CG marked. We haven't tested the CG or anything because we can't really test until we're built. So let's get the wiring taken care of. All right, guys. So I'm so glad that worked. It would have been embarrassing if it didn't. Not like the first time it's ever happened. Okay, so first thing we need to do is create a new model. So I'm gonna just turn on the transmitter. I'm gonna hit back and cancel. I'm gonna scroll down to add new model. Click, create an acro. And since I don't have 250 models in here anymore, it might take just a few seconds less. But the cool thing is with FMS, when you've got a Reflex V2, which is basically a stabilizer, your receiver doesn't have to be spatially aware. However, I must say it is premium to go with an AS3X and safe equipped receiver, in my opinion. So this is cheaper, considerably cheaper than an AS3X and safe equipped receiver, but then you would just literally tear out the Reflex and put your receiver right there. Okay, so model type's already set, model name, this is where we type it in. Okay, so this is gonna be called the Flash, and then we'll come back after we type. All right, so we have the Flash, the FMS Flash 850, don't forget the size class. Aircraft type, we have a normal wing and a normal tail. Now, if you did flaperons, remember, you're gonna lose stabilization on one of those, I believe. You can also use the provided USB-A to USB-C to program this, but you have to get into the plug on the side, which is easier said than done, folks. Now, if you do that, you may be able to set up flaperons on the Reflex. I'm not going to the trouble to do it because I don't think they're necessary or gonna be very helpful on this. So now we're gonna go down and select an image. Whoops. I'd shot right past it. Select image, standard images, probably that Rafale looking thing. Don't you think?
Probably.
Well, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Okay, so then flight mode setup we're not messing with, and we don't have to do very much setup on this, except for the first thing we're gonna do is set up throttle cut. Okay, throttle cut's gonna be set to switch H. Then we look down here on the monitor and we move the stick up and down. We make sure it's on with that stick toward our belly. I have personally found that toward my belly is safer because it's easier to not knock it into dangerous condition. I found it's less likely to get pulled forward than it is likely to get knocked back. That doesn't mean it can't get knocked back. So remember, there's always a false sense of security that comes with any safety feature. It can fail, but generally speaking, it's going to keep you more safe. So I suggest you do it, okay? All right, now, throttle curve we're not messing with, mixing we're not messing with, timer we are setting. What do they suggest?
They do not.
They don't?
Nope, never.
Okay, well in that case, we're not gonna go with anything, but we'll just probably set 3 minutes and we'll do a voltage alarm, which tells me we're gonna need a Gen 1. Okay, so I'm gonna set the 1 out active, and then at 1 minute I want a voice call out, at 20 seconds I want nothing, at 10 seconds I want voice, not vibe, voice, and then expiration I want tone and vibrate, and then a tone every minute thereafter. We're gonna walk out of there and we'll be ready to bind. It's gonna time out almost certainly. Oh, except we need to hook everything in. So we're gonna go to servo setup, and now we can tell where everything's plugged. Throttle, aileron, elevator, rudder, gear, and then aux1. We're not using any aux1 on this, except we are, and we'll talk about that in a minute because we need the mode for stabilized or not stabilized, okay? Okay, so this is obviously gonna work with our battery, which is nice, but we have to plug in the receiver. The receiver is gonna station itself back here, or maybe here, or depending on how it fits, because this is flat, meaning wherever you see is what you're gonna have for space, folks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna take this and untangle it. No, I'm not gonna untangle it. I'm gonna slide this down. Some of you guys say you like watching the cable management, which is kind of weird, but yet I get it. If that's what you're into, we'll try to share it. Cable management in this plane is gonna be a cram and jam because that sun does not wait for anybody. So this is our ailerons, and you can tell because it's a Y cable and it says AIL, okay? So now I'm gonna take one, then I'm gonna plug it in here to this, which is brown to brown, brown to brown. Now, if you happen to get a different color code here, it'd be brown to black or black to black, and then yellow to yellow. Red's gonna be in the middle no matter what. That's clicked, so it won't easily unplug. And note that I said easily. It will unplug if you tempt fate, like crashing at 130 miles an hour. So just plan on it, okay, folks? Brown goes up. Okay, there we go. And folks, if you're new to the Brian Phillips RC channel, we appreciate you being here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, click the bell for notifications, and someday we'll probably turn on member stuff too, because we're always looking for different ways to have our strong supporters be able to support us financially, because people ask all the time. We reluctantly set up a Patreon a little while ago. This is rudder. Rudder definitely needs to be plugged into the... Why the heck is rudder not plugged in? Oh, because it's not physically installed when you get it. Okay, rudder is on the inside most connection point, and it looks like our minus is back. So minus is toward the tail of the aircraft. And I'm gonna slide that into the hole, and then I'm gonna take my excess cable and I'm actually gonna run it back here, even though we do have the possibility of, you know, being parallel to all that power wire is not like maybe the best thing in the world. It's oftentimes gonna happen on these planes. It's sort of unavoidable, okay? But you can see what I've done. I've just kind of janked all that cable into the cracks, and it looks really nice and simple. Okay, now we're gonna hook up our transmitter. So our transmitter is gonna be, that's gonna be the top channel. So it's gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll just make it in 6. That means there'll be a gap on 5. 5 is gear, although it would be kind of nice to just use gear. We don't have to set anything up. Yeah,
Do you want 3 positions though?
I do, but the thing is, it's so dang easy to get to that. So I think that's a good point. You know what? I'll do 5 and I'll show you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use the flap servo. Oh, I hate changing my methodology, folks. Rudder. Where's rudder? Camera crew, show them on the screen.
Is channel 4.
Channel 4. And by the way, channel 4, and I've got the brown is down, brown is down. Why is brown down? Because that little thing that should be silk screen says minus, then plus, then S. It is raised on the plastic and extremely hard to see on camera, but it's easy to see in person. There's a minus, a plus, and then an S. S stands for signal. Minus stands for minus, as in the return path for current in a DC circuit. Okay, throttle is gonna be channel 1. So brown is down. There it goes. Then we've got L. We've got elevator, not L. Elevator is channel 3. Okay, so we got brown is down on channel 3. Which means that rudder is gonna go, excuse me. Wait, where did I put rudder?
You did rudder. 4. That's where it goes.
What?
Rudder 4.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, ailerons is channel 2.
Yep.
Okay. All right, ailerons on channel 2. Okay, so if you got a 410, you can plug in the mode, set your stabilizer to on, and then unplug it and it will stay even after a power cycle. We learned this early on with the Reflex V2s, which is super superior to some of the competitive offerings in the stabilization market. So definitely good job on that, FMS. You did an amazing, wonderful move by making that easy to set, but there's still one disadvantage to it, and that is the simple fact that we need to have a channel for it. Puke. But you know, what are you gonna do? You gotta have a channel to it. Okay, whereas if you have the AR637, you would actually have additional channels. Hey, that brings up a good point. Horizon, why don't you give us a 4-channel with AS3X and safe? That'd be a great idea, because then we could fly planes like this once we tear out the Reflex. And we could do state, all that stuff would actually ride on top, so you'd have more channels, and you could do some cool things with a simpler transmitter receiver combo. Okay, so I'm just trying to get this to stuff in this crack. I don't know if it's gonna go. I really want it to be there because I think it's gonna look nice, because there isn't anything that protrudes down, guys. Oh yeah, I love it. That's where it's getting stuffed. Very nice. I don't like the fact that that button is gonna be potentially depressed by this cable, so I'm gonna make sure my cable is back here. and there is a ridge that gives passage for the cables. Okay, so now as you know, we need to get this built so that the sun doesn't set on us, and it's coming. Okay, so the next move at this point is to set this up, and we're gonna do it right now by plugging in the power. This is a 30C pack. We'll need room for a voltage alarm, and sorry that thing keeps tipping. It's just the nature of the beast on these plug and flies that are real small like this. Okay, so I'm plugging it into the XT60. As you can see, the IC3 fits in, but it's a tight squeeze if you want to use an adapter. I don't blame you, but I do think it's not necessary, and we can agree to disagree. If you don't like that, that's fine. Okay, so now next move, we're gonna go ahead and bind. There's two ways to do this. You can shut this radio off by pressing and holding. While holding this, turn it back on, and that'll put you into bind mode, or you can just go there and go yes, and then be prepared. I'm gonna press this button. Since it's a Virgin, it only takes a little bit of stimulation to get her going, okay? Then you click bind, and look, I'm holding it level. Cool. Now it's auto configuring because there is a little bit of limited telemetry that you get on an AR620. AR620s, of course, do not have AS3X and safe, but you don't need it if you have a reflex. So elevator, oh, it's not working. Why? Because we don't have the thing in the hole. Okay, and we're still beeping. Why are we still beeping? Oh, because that never actually initiated. Holding it level, holding it still. Come on now. Why is it not starting? Good catch, camera crew. Let's just repower cycle this sucker. Okay, power off. Power back on. We're already bound. We don't need to do anything else on that. There it goes. Well, that's very weird. Wonder if I got something plugged in backward here, because if you do, that can cause a problem similar to this. Looks like all those are plugged in. I'm looking at the color. Yeah, they're all plugged in right. And we're definitely getting, oh, there it goes. I had to hold it level for a long time, guys. Okay, fine. As you can see, the ailerons are moving, the rudder's moving, and the elevator's not. We need to see what mode we're in. It's moving. Going to monitor mode. Monitor mode. Nothing. That's already assigned, but it's assigned to something else. That's assigned. Okay, so we're just gonna set, we're gonna go down to system setup, disconnect RF, go down to channel assign, and I'm gonna set my, not gear, yeah, gear, to B. Okay, now we're done. Now we go over to monitor, 3 modes. It's also tied to auxiliary too, but who cares? Okay, look at the light. It's solid. Now it's flashing slow. Now it's flashing fast, okay? That's gonna auto level you in this mode, or this mode. Okay, so with solid light, it's auto leveling. We don't wanna put the elevator in at auto leveling because it's gonna be moving to correct. There's nothing. So I'm in the middle mode, and so I want auto leveling all the way toward me. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go, see it's in the middle. This is gonna be auto leveling. That's gonna be stabilized. So what I'm gonna do is go to travel, reverse, and I'm gonna reverse the gear channel. Now that's stabilized, that's off, and that's auto level. So I'm gonna be in the middle, throttle cut is on, and now we can put this onto the plane. Snap it down. I feel a little bit of resistance there. That makes me nervous, guys. It's a fast plane. You don't want to lose your canopy. You'd be chasing it for a long ways. Okay? Elevator needs to stick in the hole. What do they suggest, camera crew? Did you remember?
I do not.
Okay, so it says on the elevator, it's the outside hole on the outside. Okay?
Okay.
Outside means the furthest one out. Slide it into the hole. And then this slides over, and then you want this nice and level. So that means we're gonna have to hold 3 fingers and walk this out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and make sure you're not gonna jank it off. 8, not gonna jank it off. That's pointing us down. 9, 10, Not gonna jank it off still, not gonna jank it off. What I'm saying is I don't want that to pull out of the threads. I had that happen with our opposite the J11 there, which is the SU-27. Amazing plane, still managed to kill it with just one of those failing, okay? So now you can pop these on with your bare hands if you like pain and suffering, which I don't. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab some needle nose pliers, but you can also use ball joint pliers to make it more appropriate. Just snap that sucker on there and she's ready to rock and roll. Then one final check. You see that thing is pointed slightly up. Oop, I gotta reverse it too. Okay, so that's another thing. Ailerons are backward, elevator's backward, rudder's correct. So while we're here, we'll do elevator and we'll do ailerons. So now ailerons roll, elevator up, elevator down. Y'all left, y'all right. Roll left, roll right. Everything is good, everything's working, amazing. Throttle cuts off, and we got movement. Look, it shot my nut off. It's always handy if you're trying to get that accomplished. So now the camera crew is gonna hand me the rest of the goodies. Now you have to test CG with this thing on. So everybody listen, we have a screwdriver. The screwdriver is gonna feed into here. That's gonna allow you to torque this nut on there. So the first step is you have to figure out which one of these fits over the shaft. That one fits over the shaft perfectly. Then you can just jank this off by spinning it on the shaft, or you can take it off and do it by hand. There is a front and a back, okay? This one will go into the back and it will slip in until it fits flush. Now you're gonna take that same thing and you're gonna make a decision if you wanna use the other one that came with it or you cannot. In my case, I'm not. I'm gonna slide this in here, but this collar needs to go in first, I believe. So that's gonna give you a flat face. You know what? I bet that's supposed to be on the back side. I wonder. I'm actually not sure. Did they show it in the drawing?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
You're gonna have to go back a page.
One page back, okay.
There.
Yeah, they're actually showing this on the other side. And that might work good because then this will sit into the groove on the motor mount. Yep, that's right, guys. See how much more purchase you're gonna have on your threads? So then, you know, normally I don't slide that through first. This is where you need to pay attention. The print goes on the front, okay? This is a tractor prop, so it's gonna spin like this, okay? It's a pusher prop, but it is still going that way. So it's a counterclock, this is going counterclockwise like normal. So that is actually a pusher prop. Okay, so do not put them on backward, they won't work, okay? You'll get way less efficiency and probably won't be able to hand launch the thing and you'll lose your plane. Now, I'm gonna be super careful because we were talking about safety earlier. We're gonna continue talking about safety.
Wow.
That's 32% throttle, folks. That's 22% throttle. That's 32. Okay, throttle cuts on and tested. Everything's golden there, so now let's check CG, 2 marks. I wanna start so that it's tail heavy on the back. Yeah, very tail heavy on the back, on the front mark. And then on the back mark, we are still tail heavy. So we need to move the battery back. So I'm gonna grab this, pull it up. I'm also gonna add one additional fixture, and that's gonna be a piece of tape. Nah, we're not gonna do a piece of tape because we're gonna lose light. What's gonna happen? So, 50C, we're gonna try to slide you in here and see if we get some purchase, because look at this, we are gonna run out of strap point. Okay, so if you ever have a strap that won't reach and you wanna push a battery way back, just do your very best to keep purchase on the battery, and that's where this shelf liner comes in real handy, guys. Now I can take this and slide it back even further, so it's still under and it's still trapped.
You wanted to be more nose heavy though, didn't you?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
I did this on the last plane. Thank you, camera crew, for remembering that, because I was totally backward. We were tail heavy, folks.
Yes.
So now we need to go way forward with it. So we'll go up like that. And I can't actually recommend feeding it through. It's usually better, but this one's glued.
Is your tip gonna fit in there?
Yeah, it will. I mean, if it doesn't fit, I'll just jam the tip in.
Oh.
You know,
Okay.
I'm just concerned about the thickness of the battery strap and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to plug this in. Throttle cuts on, timer's cleared to 3 minutes. And we don't have a voltage alarm, which is unfortunate, but reality has struck again. Okay, so I'm gonna slide that down. That wire will pass through, no problem. This thing is initiating the stabilizer. Okay, we're good there.
That's good.
So I guess at this point, guys, let's check CG one more time. Obviously, you can see the mark points. There are some hand holes on the bottom. Okay, so it's tail heavy on the back holes and it's even on the front holes, so we're still not there. This thing gives you something to hang on to, but just keep in mind, I like tape on there. But ultra, ultra, ultra fast planes, I push it all the way to the nose. See the holes, guys? Fingers on the front holes, tail heavy. Fingers on the back holes, nose heavy. It's probably where we're gonna be because I don't wanna have to move.
I don't think you want to be tail
I
heavy,
can't go any further,
yeah.
guys. So that's where it's gonna be.
Gonna get.
All the way to the bulkhead, folks. All right. Excuse me about the cough, guys. But we're ready to rock and roll. That's a pretty quick build, and you'll notice it's initiated. So first things first, before we go out there, we have to check our throttle, or excuse me, our stabilization. Up goes up, down goes down, roll left. Excuse me, not roll left, yaw, yaw. Aileron up, aileron down, aileron up. Okay, I'm gonna show the people quick. So what I'm looking at is I'm watching down the length, and watch out, that rudder's gonna go the direction I move it. It's gonna go the other direction, it's gonna go the other direction, it's gonna go the other direction. Now, same thing on the aileron. When I lift this wing, it's gonna go up, down, okay? These are tied together, but still up and down. Elevator, watch this, guys. Watch that elevator go up, down, okay? Auto leveling's easier to check. Flip it upside down, turn it on. That's the middle, that's level. Watch your elevator, trying to bring it level. Watch your elevator, trying to bring it level. We're ready to rock. Throttle cuts on, auto leveling's actually set. That way we can launch it. And we're gonna be flying this thing right now, guys. Stay tuned, so much more from Brian Phillips RC. If you like, support our channel, buy this plane from the links in the video description below. We'll link to the battery reuse, which is a 50C, but you know, when you guys search, when you guys look at the batteries, you'll see other sizes, but just remember they recommend a 35C, and we might just blast through one of these other packs if we find success. What do you think, camera crew?
Let's take one with us.
We'll take one with us.
We gotta go, we're losing light.
So guys, if you haven't already liked the video, like it. Definitely click the bell for notifications, subscribe if you haven't. And then the other thing you can do is look for Patreon links down below and PayPal if you don't like monthly support. But really, like I said, the best way to support us in our efforts here on Brian Phillips RC would be to buy these amazing planes, buy these delicious transmitters and receivers and batteries and things like that. And you will be helping to support us. So we really are super grateful that you guys are here, and we will keep doing this as long as you keep coming back. So thanks for watching. So much more from Brian Phillips RC.